Where are you? Are you coming? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the official launch of Going Against the Grain, which is the genius book from the wonderful Kathy DeMarcus. And Going Against the Grain has 8 amazing stories, one of which I shared because I absolutely live through this. But I want to begin by sharing, by reading a little bit of the blurb so that you get the essence of the book and why everybody showed up to share their story in this wonderful book. Are you a person who likes to play it safe, rejecting a thought or inspiration that comes because of fear or doubt of the outcome? Or are you someone who challenges the status quo, looking outside the box for solutions and coming up with innovative ideas that lead you to do things very differently from others? The world is, thankfully, made up of a diverse personalities, and everyone is different. But if you find yourself questioning the traditional way of doing things, then this book is for you. And it is for you, if that's what you are called to. Isn't it, Kathy DeMarcus?
Oh, absolutely. And I think more and more people are actually realizing that, you know what, you can actually do things differently. You don't have to do things, the way that it has been done historically. And by doing so, you're being true to yourself and succeeding, like absolutely just rocking it, like these women are. So I'm really, really excited. I'm thrilled. Wait till you actually hear their stories.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we are going to get stuck in. We have some amazing questions for these women today, and we are going to chat with Belinda Weir first. Thank you so much, Cathy, for showing up and bringing these women to readers across the world.
Oh, look, it's an absolute pleasure, and I hope that you guys can hear me. Danny, I think, shared that she couldn't hear me before, so I hope that you can hear me now.
Yes, you're better.
Okay. Great. I'm going to hand it over to you now, Karen.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Cathy. We'll check back in with you soon. So as we talked about earlier, I actually shared in my socials earlier that going against the grain sometimes is like a sliding door moment in your life. You can choose one way or another, and it changes the trajectory of your life. And when you don't go with the conventional way of thinking all of the time, but you have the courage to find your own way and go against the grain, and amazing change happens. And I want to welcome one of the authors of the book, who is Belinda Weir. Welcome, Belinda.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you very much.
Congratulations on becoming a published author today. Can you share with everyone where you are joining us from and a little bit about what you do?
My name is Belinda Weir. I am joining from East Africa, Tanzania to be specific. It is the land of Kilimanjaro, the Big Five, and Zanzibar. A little bit about what I do. So I live to help people tap into their knowledge bank so that they reach their place of genius. So everywhere where I am, I'm at a position where I work with people, trusting that they have the power within. So I've worked in different sectors, from intergovernmental organization, technology organization, in the communication space. I'm now back in the technology space, but everywhere I've been, that is what I've been able to do.
Oh, amazing, amazing. So thank you for joining us. What time is it there in Tanzania now?
It's 11:59, just a minute before noon.
Oh, wonderful, fabulous. Belinda, did you ever think you would be co-authoring a book?
Yes, I have actually. The funny thing is, I didn't think that I would be invited to co-author a book. I've always thought that I'm going to write a book and I'm going to share other people's stories, because I wanted to create a space where people can see everyday people and how they've made it, not just the celebrities that we see. So that is what my book is going to be about. However, the amazing Cathy jumped in to welcoming me and really showing me, giving me an opportunity to be a writer. And working with you, Karen, it has just been amazing. This is the best way for me to have started. It didn't happen the way I thought.
Going against the grain again, Belinda. Dipping your toe in the water before you dive right in, hey?
Yes. I wasn't
Love
ready,
it.
I can tell you that.
There was lots of squeals, Karen. You know,
Yeah.
when we were having this discussion, there was this, I could almost see it, you know, this happening over the phone. Then came, yes!
You heard the call, hey? And a powerful story it is. But we're not going to give it all away, but we want you to share. What are one or two things you want to share as an insight into your chapter, Belinda?
From my chapter, now it's interesting to know me. They'll get to know me. It's the first time I talk about where I come from. My chapter I named it Resilience, Courage, and Getting Things Done Together. Yes, it is a mouthful, but I think that is what has brought me here. I was raised working together with my family, a lot of support from there. And resilience came when, you know, the going got tough. And what got me out of that was just the courage to try, the courage to accept, the courage to, you know, do it afraid. And one or two things that I can share from my chapter is that the first thing is take all the opportunities you can afford. Two things will come out of that. One, you learn from it, but two, you also know what doesn't work for you. So any opportunity that comes, give it a try. You never know. You might know that it's not for you, and that's a good one. Or you might know that, you know, this is something that can actually work.
Oh,
Something else
amazing.
that I would like to share that I've come to realize is that rest is really important. In the world we live in today, where everything is just express fast, there's no patience, there's no reflection, there's no I've realized that rest is a recipe for survival. Now, it takes courage to rest in the world where everybody expects you to be doing something all the time, but it takes a lot of courage for you to just stop, reflect, and take an account of the things that have happened. And through that, you will be able to calm yourself, you'll be able to prioritize yourself, and that way you're going to be healthy. So I know that's something that we hardly talk about in, you know, normal conversations. We only talk about doing things, doing this, doing that. But I think rest is one of those things that needs to be part of everything that we do. Like, it needs to be scheduled, just as you schedule your meals, your workouts, your work. Rest needs to go into the calendar.
Oh, you're
I'll stop there so
talking my
that people
talk.
can read now.
You're talking my talk. I love it. It's the power of the pause, isn't it? It's as important as doing things. It's just so important. Amazing. And guys, that is just a one or two little snippets out of a chapter. Can you imagine the golden nuggets in the rest? Wonderful. Belinda, what message would you like to share with women and young people who are still finding their way in life and career?
That's a tough one because I fall in that category. So, but the one thing that I would want to say is take courage to be different. Take courage to be yourself. Just dare to be yourself and see what comes out of it. Because when God created us, He created us unique. We all have eyes, we all have a nose, we all have a mouth, but we all look different. And that is the space we should start with. So much as we learn from others, let's just dare to be who God called us to be.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. How did you get involved in going against the grain? You know, like Cathy didn't arm wrestle you into it. You know, was it, if you didn't say yes, what made you say yes afterwards?
Like I said earlier, taking all the opportunity, I think that I walk the talk. An opportunity presented itself, but before it did, Helen introduced me to Cathy. And after a number of encounters and discussions, we realized that our values really aligned. So from there, when an opportunity came, I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to afford this. I don't know if I can write. I didn't know a lot. Like Cathy said, there were moments where I was just like, hey, can I do it? Do you think? And she's like, yes. So, well, the rest is the present, not history, because here we are partnering in the Raise the Baseline program, which the process of the book are going to. So a big thing came out of just saying yes to an opportunity that is looking to change not only today's generation, but the future that is generation to come.
Thank you so much. And Belinda, you've just led into me calling Cathy to come in and just share a little bit about the Raise the Baseline project, because this book is so much more than a book. You know, our stories in it together are very powerful. I have it here, I've read it, and it's a very powerful book, which will ignite so much within others. But there's a bigger picture here. And so I want to thank you so much, Belinda, for joining me and sharing an insight. I'm sure everybody loved getting to know you more. And I'm going to invite Cathy back in to share a little bit about Raise the Baseline project. Thank you, Belinda.
Thank you, Belinda. And, you know, those of you who actually don't know Belinda, it really is a snippet that you've seen. She is just this.
We need to hear you a little bit more, Cathy. Sorry.
She's this beacon of light. You know, she really does radiate this incredible energy. And yeah, see that? That's actually what I see all the time. So, it's interesting because I've known Helen since 2014, and you know, our paths actually crossed for a different reason. It was actually through my daughter. But over the years, so much actually happens when we give ourselves the opportunity to think about what else. And that's actually what happened. So through the pandemic, you know, I actually had reached out to Helen and I said to Helen, look, you know, for me, everybody's actually suffering, everyone's in pain. And I know that there's something that I need to do that's more. And I said, get everybody that's actually in the wanting to lead, to actually make a difference, bring them together. And I'm actually, you know, wanting to actually walk the path with you where we can make a difference. Now, that was really around leadership development for adults, but as time went on, more and more of the work that, you know, my daughter and I have been doing in Tanzania around orphanages started to actually play a bigger role. And that then led into Going Against the Grain, which is really about showing, you know, our future generation that, you know what, they have a voice, they have a different point of view, and I want to encourage them to do things differently. So the book got birthed in the background, but Raise the Baseline actually got birthed in the forefront, which was really about leadership development for young people, aspiring leaders globally, with a focus in developing countries. And so we started to birth the program. What I started to do in the background was also actually engage with a school that I had done some work with, which interestingly enough, Belinda's sister used to work at the school and I had no idea at the time. And so I started the discussions around what is it that we can actually do. And that's how Belinda got involved with Helen. And basically, we now run those programs and they are our local facilitators on the ground. So Raise the Baseline is 4 different programs starting from children of the age of 12, you know, learning incredible skills, you know, around leadership, but more importantly, finding out who they are, you know, the values that they actually have, their boundaries, building confidence, and not just building resilience, but looking at things that actually go beyond that. So anti-fragility. And so Helen and Belinda are actually going to roll out all of the programs. They'll actually do the facilitation in the school as well as what they have been doing in the community for me. So that's a little bit about the program, but it really is about creating impact. And it's not just impact for 1 or 2 children. It really is a global project that we take into countries everywhere. So
Absolutely.
that's just a little bit.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it is about building future leaders, isn't it? And having an impact with one person that will ripple out across the world. Amazing, Cathy, and a beautiful vision from you that is then getting supported through, you know, Belinda and Helen and everybody else who supports the Raise the Baseline project. Everybody who buys a copy of this book is supporting the Raise the Baseline project. So go and grab your copy today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cathy. Helen, I'm going to ask you to come down and join me. How are you going?
I'm great. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here.
We are delighted to have you join us today. And you are joining us from Tanzania as well, aren't you?
Yes.
Wonderful. Can you...
I'm joining from Arusha, whereas Belinda was joining from Dar es Salaam, but we're both in Tanzania now.
Amazing, amazing. Helen, can you share a little bit about yourself and what you do?
All right, so my full names are Helen Lukundo, Road Blogs. Where people see challenges, most of the time I see solutions.
Yes.
And I have noted that solutions and a clear road where businesses and individuals are facing challenges. And so I assist and help businesses and individuals in areas where they feel stuck, and in improving their efficiencies, their growth, etc. So ideally, I come in and assist in a certain period of time, and then I just let people and businesses shine.
Amazing, amazing. Did you ever think you'd be a co-author in a book?
Did you get that?
Yeah, I think there's a static maybe on her side.
Yeah, sorry, there seems to be a bit of a delay.
I think that was,
yeah.
did you?
Yeah, okay. So I didn't think I would be a co-author in a book, to be honest. But one thing that was and it still is and continues to be a huge conviction for me is that I do know that my journey is meant to be shared by others. And what I have been through, how I navigate through things is very important to be shared so that I can help others like me going through things that I have been through or I'm going through. Navigate a bit easier, a bit better. And so I did not think that I was going to be a co-author in a book, but I did think that I was going to share my journey in one way or another. So this is a perfect vessel to start on that journey.
There seems to be a bit of a time delay.
Yeah, it seems to be delayed. Helen, can you hear me? Yeah.
Oh yes, I can hear you clearly.
Awesome. Yeah. So what are one or two things you'd like to share with us from your chapter, Helen?
So there's quite a lot I want to share, but if I have to summarize, I'll give an analogy. So my book is named The Magic of You. And when Cathy asked me to be part of the book, I figured I don't want to be an expert in any one thing. Everyone has their own life journey. And so I wouldn't want to put down steps of how to do this, being mindful of the fact that situations can be different. But one thing I noted that we all have in common is a magic within ourselves. And so I shared my journey. And my section is named The Magic of You, being mindful and wanting people to see the magic in themselves. When we come in the world as children, we are a blank book, and we learn a lot by seeing others do things more than even in the classroom. And I wanted people to see what I have been through and how I've navigated through it. And so they can see that they too are magical, and they can have the courage to share their journey, the talents within them with others, and also just talk about what they're going through, and help others navigate through challenges. And so if there's any one thing that I want to share, it's more of that. You are magical. Your journey is magical. You did not come here by mistake. And so I wanted everyone not to shy away from who they are, but to shine a little light, a lot of light, if that makes you comfortable, on who you are and what you're kept to do in this world. And I believe we'll all be in a much better place if we all do that.
I muted myself there because I knew that they were on a magical roll. Love it. Oh, my heart's singing. Helen, as if you want to share more
Yeah.
wisdom with us now, what message would you like to share with women and young people who are still finding their way in life and career? You know, we're always ahead of somebody coming behind us. So what would you like to share?
When I first saw when you asked that question to Belinda, I figured, oh my, that is me. I'm a young person and I still haven't had it figured out to date. And also, I have two kids who are amazing. And when you say young people, well, they're still children, but they're much younger than myself. And when I wrote this book as well, I wrote this for them as much as I wrote it for everyone else. So they may see this and learn. What I want them, what I would like to share with them is more of, I want to tell them it's normal. I want to tell them it's normal to be where they are. So if you are a child and you feel a certain way, or you are acting childish, it's okay. When you are a bit older and you are worried, going through midlife crisis, it is okay. When you're much older and you haven't gotten it figured out, it is okay. I once listened to, again, an analogy, and this guy was talking about a pregnant woman, and he was saying that when a woman is pregnant, their belly becomes big. And so it's not a normal formation of a human body, right? But if we didn't know that that was normal, this woman would have been worried when their belly started being bigger. And because they know it's normal, and because the community also tells them that it's normal, they're okay to go through that transition until they birth this child. Similar to ourselves, we want to rush to perfection. We want to rush towards knowing what we're meant to do in this world. And I just want to say it is okay to be reckless if you are at that stage in your life. It is okay to be figured out. It is okay to just be where you are, because all of that is a transition of life. As much as as long as you're being mindful to others, it to urge others to be empathetic with other people in their journey, such that when you see someone going through a hurdle, if you treat them in a way that it's okay, they will be more comfortable to be themselves. And I still want to believe that when we are authentic, we will make this world a better place.
Oh my goodness, hey. Isn't it that? Embrace the journey. It's not all about the destination, you know, isn't it? And the magic, yes, absolutely. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, and I love you. So, we want to hear more of this, so keep sharing, honestly, because you know the work that you do is changing, and it is for our children, it's for the next generation, but also for the generation that we're in as well. Needs to hear, you know, we're all going through changes and transitions. It is unsettling, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll get there. We'll get there. Helen, how did you end up in this book? Did Cathy twist your arm and just not let you run away, or did you go, yes, this is what I'm waiting for?
The former, but not in that way. There's an explanation. So as much as I knew Cathy before Belinda, when the idea came up, I was like, you know what? I am in a point in my life where I'm not ready. And also just being mindful to be shared. I just felt about like putting my life out there, and I felt like I wasn't ready. I like my personal life personal, and I wanted to keep it that way. So yes, I wasn't quite ready when I was offered the opportunity, and in fact I turned it down. And again, this is a lesson there, to surround yourself with people who understand your journey and listen to what you are saying by your actions rather than your words. So Cathy and Belinda, both of them did not let me say no. I said no, they gave me a moment, and then they came back and turned that no into a yes. And today I am very proud that I am part of this. Again, I'll bring my children, because Sean, who's my son, was quite excited to see that I'm part of a book. He even started writing something on his own, so he was quite inspired. My daughter as well, Clarissa, was quite proud of me for doing this. So I did not willingly do this at first. But I am glad that I'm surrounded by an amazing group of people who will take me on a journey that they know is important for me, even when I myself was not ready.
Yeah. And you're walking your talk there, because as you said, that you're walking into the unknown. But you're walking into it alongside people, and you're going on a journey, and whenever you get to you wouldn't change it. That's the thing. You get up and you share your story, and when your story reaches the people that need to read it, and ignites something within them, like that's when you go, wow. And already we have a comment in the chat here. Madame Helen, thank you so much. Most of the girls and the ladies need those words now. It's okay to be where you are now. There you go. Beautiful. Well, we are so glad you said yes. So thank you so much, Helen, for coming and sharing a little bit more about yourself with everybody. I'm going to call down Katherine Malloy, who's going to come and join me on the stage, who is, Katherine, this is book 3 for you. You've recently published book 2. Book 4. Oh my goodness. See, can I get you off mute, please, so that we can hear you and your inspirational words. Well, I know you, Cathy knows you, Helen and Belinda know you, but for those who are watching and don't know you, can you share a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, it's been very interesting through COVID. Prior to COVID 2019, I was traveling the world. I'm a speaker and I speak on communication skills. I truly believe that is the way that we communicate. The thoughts that come in here, that come out here, our action, our reaction, or even our lack of action causes those domino effects that most of the time we think is because of someone else, but it's if we can take it back, it's actually us. So I have been blessed to be able to work with thousands of people around the world, many corporations. But going back to 2010, when I started my business in the last global financial crisis, my husband fell ill, and I started my training company. And, very quickly it grew, and the $1 Million Handshake came from that, the first impressions, what we're telling ourselves, how we listen to other people, all those wonderful tools, our mindset, our behaviors, all came through there, and the way we connect cross-culturally. But that book, I was fundraising since 2010 for orphans in Uganda. So I was working with a group of women while I was running my business, and we were helping girls shine. It was a program to help girls that had been bullied, perhaps from broken homes, abused, just weren't fitting in. So we gave them these great tools. And when we went to Uganda, we discovered, of course, these tools work everywhere. And then I did women's programs in India, Unlock Your Worth, and all these wonderful things we put together have been able to use and develop over the last few years. And of course, I met Cathy. I was delivering, I think, probably mastering communication or body language on stage. I think is that right, Cathy? Is that where you first saw me? And then I think from that, I ran into Cathy at the airport. I was coming back from Sydney in 2021. So I was still doing some flying around Australia and some speaking. I do a lot of coaching and mentoring, of course. And my book was just being released, The Conscious Leader, and Kat told me about her program, her baseline. So this is different to the other books that I've written where I've been paid for by publishers to write, or where people have asked me to write for their book. This was a contribution. So this is an investment for the baseline project. And that's what I was really interested in. I was really interested in doing just more than putting a chapter in. So, you know, I've offered the services too to be able to help mentor and train the people that are delivering, because even our programs in Uganda, we're not going in delivering it. The Ugandans are delivering it. We're just here as a resource. And I believe everyone in the world needs a mentor and coach. And so that's something that we can do. And thank God for technology, because here we are around the world, being able to help each other and so many more people. We can still do that from home. And we're just hitting our big crisis right now in Queensland. This is our big crisis, and apparently school's been put back another few weeks. We're about to hit our highest numbers for COVID. And so I know there are so many to what we do and difference for each and every one of us, just the way that we think about something and the way that we can action it with our mindset. Staying positive and being creative in 2022 is going to be a big bonus for us all.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think you answered question one I was going to ask you. Did you ever think you would co-author a book? Because you know you're an author of many books, and how ironic is to have the $1 million handshake now, and that's a conversation all in itself. In how a few short years, you know, we don't shake hands anymore. You know, isn't it amazing how things change? And it is absolutely about our mindset and how our perspective on things and how we adjust and go with the changes that are surrounding us. We can get consumed in them. Kath, amazing. And thank you so much for being part of this project. As I said, it's so much more than a book. The book is a catalyst for everyone to support the Raise the Baseline project. And all of the stories within this book are so inspiring. I know I've been part of many anthologies. I wrote 11 this morning, then I counted them, and it's 17. And I share different stories in every single book because I show up and I really feel into it. And the story I shared in this one was just what I was supposed to share. So can you share a few, you know, one or two things from your chapter so that we can give a little bit of an insight to people watching?
Great question. I'll let you know. So mine was when the grain goes against to anyone else in their life. I don't know if it has, I want you to comment, and I'm going to first person I will send a copy of the book to. But were you born into this world and then had no parents? So if that was you, let me know. So when I'm talking about sometimes the grain goes against you as well, I wasn't born into a normal situation. So a mum from a different country had me here in Australia, and I was then in hospital for a couple of months, orphaned and then adopted by two wonderful people who allowed me to be me and loved me dearly. So that was incredible. And one of the stories, I won't be sharing that with you right now, but there is a story in here, even with the thousands of stages that I've been on, I haven't shared with anyone. And my husband was driving in the car when I shared this with Cathy, and I said, Cathy just read my story, and I said, I don't know if I should be putting this in or not. I've never told anyone before. My husband heard it for the first time when he was driving the car. And anyway, so yes, Cathy said it should be there, and the story is there. But I believe that one of the things that I shared is the many circles that happen in life. And I truly believe that there is a season for everything. Just sometimes we can't have everything in that one season. And that's the beauty of life. And when I was around 9 years of age, I started fundraising. You know, I said to my dad, why is that person's name in the paper? And they said, oh, because they fundraise. And I thought, oh, I'd like to do that. So obviously I must have wanted my name in the paper as well, right? Anyway, so off I went and I started to fundraise, and we'd have this little puppet show. My brother and I, we'd get puppets for our birthday and Christmas, and we'd paint them up. And so we'd have this little puppet show, and Mum would make fresh lemonade, and Dad would do donuts, and they'd probably pay 50 cents. And we'd do it in our courtyard, and I'd keep fundraising till I got $50. I'd knock on doors, and then we'd send that 50 away. And I chose the children's hospital charity. Now at 9, I never really thought about myself being from the children's hospital. That was where I started my life. And, you know, it's interesting how things happen. And then later in life, here I was, the first time I've started my own business, 10% of all my money was going to Uganda. And we'd lost nearly everything in the global financial crisis. And my husband was like, why are you doing that? And I said, I want something bigger than me. I need something more than just getting our money back for the family. And so that's how my journey started there. And then we were helping with Shine. And then when I was in Uganda, we were so lucky and so privileged to work with these beautiful women and many orphans. You know, the Congo, there was big wars and bombs, and a lot of parents were taken out and by Coney. And so there's many orphans. And when we went over there, we were helping build land, and even when they were digging, there was bones of people from this war. But all of a sudden, I was sitting there with all these orphans around me, and I was talking, and I'm like, I started my life as an orphan. And these are some of these full circles that we have in life. And fundraising was really difficult. So when I did, finally, I got pushed and pushed and pushed to write the $1 Million Handshake, which of course is more than just a handshake, okay? It's all about the way we make people feel. Body language, everything's in there. But the interesting thing was 30% of that then went to charity. My husband's like, why are you putting 30% to the toto, to the children? And I was like, because, you know, you can have 30% and I'll put 30% back into education. Then he was like, okay. And I thought, well, if you don't sell anything, it doesn't happen. But one of the most beautiful things happened from there. The book was then made Business Book of the Year in UK. It was reprinted in India. It was bought in Taiwan. It was bought in another country just recently, Vietnam. So even though it's called a $1 Million Handshake, people, whether we like it or not, everyone is still shaking hands. I go to so many things and people are still shaking hands. It's what you do with your hands after that makes the difference. So, you know, make sure you use that hand gel. People want to connect. And that's what it's about. So I think my journey in life has always been about connecting, respecting others, and being conscious. And I guess that's why the second book ended up The Conscious Leader, and what we talk about in going against the grain. I believe Cathy has brought a consciousness forward to encourage people to step out and to be who they are, and it's okay to go against the grain. So I do hope that you love the stories, and like I said, there's a very, very personal one in there that I have never told anyone. So I hope it makes a difference for you.
It is amazing. And I have to admit, I resonate with that, because the story I shared, I never shared with anybody either. And it is very personal, but I think that it captures the essence of what we're trying to share here. With Is It? And we showed up most definitely. You are one of the most inspirational people Katherine Malloy. I love what you do. The essence and the motivation behind everything that you do comes from such a heart space and makes a real change in the world. So thank you so much for being you. And anyone who doesn't know Katherine Malloy, go check her out. If you don't, I don't know how you don't. Go and check out katherinemalloy.com and you'll see a lot there. So as if you haven't inspired us enough, can you share what message would you like to share with women and young people who are still finding their way in life and career?
I guess very simply, if you believe in yourself, others believe in you too. We've all been given many gifts, and sometimes it takes us years and years and years to really work them out and to find them. But I truly believe that being kind is not a weakness. And if you can be kind to people in life, then that's a great legacy to leave too. And I think in life, what's important is, what is it that, you know, how do you want to make people feel when you walk out of that room? You know, what do you want them to think about you? What are they going to say about you? Have you left them feeling that little bit better, that little bit lighter? And I think if we can pay that forward, I think that would be a beautiful thing. So I really want you to believe in yourself and stay kind. No matter what happens to you in life, it may not seem fair, it may not seem right, but when you look back and you reflect, there's going to be like that oyster shell where that grain of sand gets in, and it's so irritating and frustrating that it releases this sort of saliva over that little bit of sand and it makes it smooth. And eventually over time, when you open that oyster, there's a beautiful pearl in there. And I truly believe when these things happen to us in life that we don't want to happen, and we don't want COVID, and we don't want all these things happening right now, but eventually there's going to be a pearl in these moments that you'll be able to open. So believe in yourself, stay kind, and I'll see you on the other side.
I'm not going to ask you the last question because I want to leave it there with you. That's a beautiful message. Let's all, you know, have faith that the pearl is coming, you know, for us all. I want to share, Kelly Hackney left a comment here. Thank you, Katherine. So inspiring. I so related that you have all these stories that you haven't shared and were questioning yourself, should you include them in the book? I so love the giving of what happens along with the sharing of your story. Wonderful. Danley says, kindness is not and will never be a weakness. Kindness requires authenticity. Kindness requires boldness. Kindness requires courage to go against the grain. There we go. So many wonderful, wonderful comments. And Kelly just finished off with there. I needed to hear all your magic words tonight. Thank you for reminding me of the pearl. There you go. You've changed one life there. Absolutely. I'm sure many others. Thank you, Katherine Malloy, for being part of this amazing book.
Absolutely. You know, I think each of the ladies today showed, you know, everyone here today, that they are just genuine, ordinary, extraordinary individuals, just like each of you, you know, who are actually joining us tonight. And I still actually laugh when Kath shares her story, because I remember her actually saying to me, you know, John's looking at me and he's never heard this before. You know, what do you think? And I said, Kath, you know what? By sharing it, you're actually letting everyone know that it's okay too, you know. And I think that's the biggest message, you know. And Helen earlier, you know, she was saying, no, I can't do this. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. But the reality is that when we reach that precipice, you know, where that point of growth, and you're holding yourself back, that's when you know you need to step forward. That's when you know you need to lean in and actually break through those barriers. You know, Belinda, I know that initially she went, yes, I'm going to do it. And then it was, you know, but when you surround yourself with the right people, you actually then give yourself permission to be exactly who you are. And that's what each of these ladies have shared. And Karen, you know, she's written, how many books, Karen? 40? You've
I'm gonna have to
been
do a
involved in?
recount. Yeah.
You know, like there's so many stories in each of us, but when you're actually amongst the right people, something else resonates for you. So the biggest gift that we're hoping as a collective that we can give to you is be yourself, surround yourself with the right people, and most importantly, lift those around you. You know, Karen's actually going to be interviewed tomorrow, but maybe Karen, could I ask a question for those that are in the audience today who may not be here tomorrow to get a little bit of insight from you? Is that okay?
Go for it, ever ready.
Okay. So I know that when I started to put this book together, you know, I was thinking of when I do anything, values actually comes at the forefront. So who I'm actually aligning with in business, who I'm doing this book with, it's really about aligning values. And so I'm actually talking to you about this. But what was happening to you whilst I was actually talking about the book, because I hadn't asked you whether you'd want to be part of the book, because it never even dawned on me. What was happening for you?
I publish a lot of anthologies. It's become one of my one of our niches and a superpower. And I'm not in every one of them because I couldn't possibly sit and write every single and achieve my other writing goals and publishing goals. But once I heard Going Against the Grain, I was like, well, there's me in a nutshell. I never do things the conventional way, and not because I don't want to. It is because I always find my way myself. I'm always the leader in my own life. And if someone can learn from that, then wonderful. And I'm very connected to my knowing, and I very much have unwavering faith in where I'm going in life. So as soon as I heard Going Against the Grain, I was like, I have to be part of this book. And I was like, Cathy, would I be a good fit for this book to contribute? She's like, of course. So I had to have the courage to say, have you even considered having me in the book? Which I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share my story. And when that happened, I didn't know what I was going to write, to be honest. I just knew I had to be part of it because hopefully my story will resonate. I shared a story about when I was a single mom, and it was 20 years ago this happened, you know, before I was writing books or anything, before I was in Australia. And so it was interesting that came out. And yes, like I've written a lot and I know what it's like to be at the beginning of whenever you're writing your story, the inhibition set in. So I understand where Helen and Belinda come from, like, oh no, I'm kind of exposing myself here. It's kind of like running around the streets naked because you're just exposing yourself and all of your inner thoughts or whatever. But once you get past that and deal with those at the beginning and just move on through that, and your story reaches others and makes a difference, then you know. And that's why I got called to help stories get shared with the world, and why I'm so delighted and honored to be part of this book as well.
Well, I certainly am incredibly grateful, you know, not just to you for actually certainly sharing your story, being the publisher of this book, and in bringing each of these incredible women, you know, together. I mean, because of time zones that we're actually in, we're running this over 2 nights. So tomorrow we actually have another 3 co-authors who are actually joining us. But the one thing that I can certainly say is that every single one of the co-authors are incredible, inspirational trailblazers. And I am very grateful for what they actually bring, not just to this book, but to the world. You know, this is really about creating an impact. This is really about creating change, not for us, but for our future generation, and giving people permission, you know, to do things differently. So thank you to each of you. I might just share a little thing that I didn't even realize until recently differently. But when I look back, you know, throughout my career, even as a young child, I mean, I come from a European background, and let me tell you, first generation migrant, we don't actually have skateboards and surfboards under our arms, but that's how I actually grew up, you know, with the ability to actually have choice. And that's what the message is here. It's okay to choose to be different. Think about what else you want to do with that. You know, Katherine Malloy shared her stories around, you know, some of the work that she actually was doing across different countries. That's what actually led my 16-year-old daughter to actually come up going to Tanzania when Ebola broke out. That's the reason why I ended up in Tanzania. So going against the grain when everybody else is telling you don't, you know, that's what you do. Follow your instincts. Do what's right for you. You know your calling, right?
And it will be okay.
So
Don't worry.
that's
The
all
SH12
that
won't
I
hit the fan. It'll be fine.
effort tonight. Yeah,
Oh,
smart.
wonderful.
How's Belinda, you know?
Yeah. Can we officially declare this book launched out into the world? And we will share links to, I'm gonna lift it up like that. Share links to on all of our Facebooks and YouTube channels for you to be able to go and check out on the KMD Books /Going Against the Grain, where you find all the links. But please go and grab your copy, support this amazing project. And we would love to see your selfies with the book, but also we would love to hear, you know, what you thought of your book. Give us your reviews and if it ignited something within you, because there's so much goodness in this book. So thank you so much, Cathy, for being the leader in this and pulling all of these amazing people together, because it doesn't happen without you.
Thank you. And for anyone who actually wants to know more about Raise the Baseline projects, please, I'm going to put it in the chat, but Raise the Baseline projects, you can actually find it in our website, which is under solutions2u.com.au. But the detail, thank you for actually being part of our journey. I wish you an incredible and inspirational 2022. This is the year for you. Step forward and be you. That's it.
Be you. Wonderful. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you to everyone on Facebook. We're going to say goodbye for now and go and grab your copy. Bye, guys.